Potentially.
There's 2 people here that have been to space this week. I think you 2 should start.
Yes, both Candy and I have been to the one place where capitalism has not ruined it. Spice.
Do you know what? When I started this podcast, this was one episode I've really been looking forward to because Starfield was announced before I started. I knew I was going to be playing the absolute shit out of this game.
Starfield was announced in 2019.
Yeah.
You were in the room first.
Next.
Give up, let them have the time. Let them have their moment.
Can you imagine though if Candy just went, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's all right. I guess it's all right, yeah.
Right. 10's pretty accurate.
Let me go.
Do you want to guide us in this one?
Yeah,
I'll do the leads.
Baby.
Oh my God, I've
Feed
been
me the
looking
field
forward
of
to this.
stars. I'm all ears. I'm keen on this game. I'm deadly keen.
That said, I will try and keep as critical a head on it as I possibly can, knowing that I've been absolutely busting for this.
Here's
Busting a nut for this.
Instead of thinking that it's your husband that made this game, think it's Nazi Elmo made this game, so you can kind of... You're not biased then. You're not biased.
Okay, right. Nazi Elmo. No, I'm not going to think that. So, you start off, and the intro is you've been sent on a mining mission, and you're a rookie, and during this mission, you stumble across an anomaly. You touch the anomaly, and you see all kinds of crazy, wackety shit. And you have about 15, 20 minutes of gameplay. This happens, and then you get to the character creator.
Is this the mine bit? I've seen this bit.
Yeah.
When I watched
Yeah,
the
so
40
this
minute
is
preview.
non-spoilery, so that's all out
I
in
did
the
really
open.
like that image when he touched the rock and all space and time, and then you saw like a tesseract, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
It looked fucking badass. That.
So that's the intro to the game. You create your character. You step out in the middle of you get sort of ambushed by a bunch of essentially space pirates.
God,
And-
bloody pirates.
Then a representative of Constellation comes down, thinks you got what it takes, and just randomly gives you a
You
spaceship.
got Maxi, kid. You got spunk.
Gives you a spaceship and a robot that we now call Tesco.
Tesco. And
There's a robot called Tesco in
No,
it.
he's called Vasco, but
Costco or something, isn't
Tesco's
it?
better.
Yeah.
Tesco's better. Costco.
And off you go into space. And my initial impressions would be, I've played about, got maybe sort of 8 hours good gaming time into it. Initial impressions, it's a Bethesda game through and through. It's Fallout
This is what you wanted.
which is exactly what the doctor ordered. It's Fallout in space.
Yeah.
I've got to a point in the game now where I've just realised how overwhelmingly huge it is. Like, it was advertised as being huge. It really is. So I've had to go to a couple of different constellations. You can't just go from one constellation to another. You have to take stop-offs on the way. So I've kind of skipped between 2 to 3 constellations to get to where I'm going, each of which has maybe 4 to 8 planets. Each planet has a couple of moons. You can land on them all.
Star systems and stuff.
Yeah, you can land on them all. You can go to them all. There's, as you go along, you'll be given side quests, activities, adventures you can go off on, and it doesn't hold your hand in terms of tunneling you down one route. If you want to stop off at a moon, you can. You can.
What you want, though, innit? That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, you can. I can see myself, and I've barely scratched the surface of any of the game's actual, the different mechanics that you can get. So I've done no shipbuilding, I've done no crafting, nothing whatsoever. I've just been mainlining the main quest, with the exception of stopping off in a couple of planets here and there, just to sort of...
I've seen a few people say they recommend doing the quest first.
The impression I get with this game is that and with a lot of Bethesda games, the main story isn't the good part of the game.
Yes.
So it might be a case. Yeah, it might be a case of getting the main story done to then open up the various different mechanics that you can get to. Bethesda games have never classically been super hot with storylines, I don't think. But yeah, I can honestly see myself spending hundreds of hours in this game.
Cool.
Gameplay-wise, again, it's Fallout in space. The only difference is the names of the items. So it's a case of, okay, so that's the laser rifle, right? That's, that's the health thing. That's what that's called. There is no difference other than you don't have VATS. The gunplay is very good. Surprisingly so. This is something that I dreaded. Not
I
being
told you
somebody
it
that's
looked good when I watched it, didn't I?
Yeah, and I'm not somebody that's particularly great at first-person shooters, which it was a bit of a worry. Like, I always kind of relied on VATS, but I haven't found it too bad yet because there's always a way around what you need to do rather than going guns blazing. You know, you can set a couple of traps or you can try and talk your way out of it.
I like the VAT system in Fallout. Do you think it's missing from this, or is it okay not having it?
So far, I haven't missed it.
Weird it not being there.
It's weird it not being there, but at the same time, the gunplay is so much better. I don't think it's going to be an issue. And then again, like, you do have the options to kind of maybe take certain routes around what you need to do.
Plus the snap to aim is pretty generous.
I like a snap to aim.
It is quite forgiving. And I've got it on normal mode as well. I don't have it on easy, and I'm not having to. I mean, it's challenging, but not for somebody that's not good at first person shooters. It's not too bad.
That's good.
But I haven't found any bugs yet. I haven't come across any major bugs. Mothram Deer has.
I've seen a few online, but it always seems to be people that are playing on underpowered PCs.
She's
Not
playing on
Xbox.
an Xbox. So,
Yeah.
and this was just a case of an enemy clipping through a bit of scenery, which wasn't a huge issue, but it's still something that should not be there. My frame rate has dipped a little bit as well.
That was that.
He can't believe there's no bugs. It's got to stick.
Yeah.
we lost Stick for a minute there. My frame rate has dropped a little bit. So it runs 30 frames per second rather than 60 frames per second. That was general knowledge. I have noticed a few dips and a few stutters, which is not particularly great.
First week. It's not even technically the first week. Mate.
It's not officially open. It's not officially been released
charm,
yet.
though, isn't it?
It's part of the charm, and it's not
charm.
It's not a game breaking issue kind of thing. You've got load screens. They're not particularly. They're not too intrusive. There is no, and I think you mentioned this on Discord, Oodles. There's no map. So going out into the wilds of space, it really does feel like you're the kind of the first person to be exploring there in some moons.
I think I'm also the only person online that thinks that's a good idea.
It's an interesting choice.
I like because they've clearly had that. They had the choice, and they've done this artistically and gone, no map. To me, that means I'm going to explore more and get lost more. That makes the game longer.
Especially
or they
with
couldn't
some
get
of
the maps to work.
Nah, they know what.
They know what they're
It's easy
doing
to do
with
a fucking map, mate. It's procedurally generated map, innit? It's just a map. But
So
not having it, I think it's brave.
It is a case of going down, especially with the moons. It's a case of going down and seeing what you can see and running to that place. I think Bethesda hates moving vehicles, but I've found that I have been running over a bit of a barren wasteland for quite some time, sometimes just to see something in the distance I really want to see. But maybe that's by design.
Space is big, mate.
They don't even have the regular, the Bethesda games have the compass on the top, and it'll show you,
Wow.
It doesn't have that. It has something similar on your watch that you can see on the bottom left, but it's not right front and center like the compass normally is.
Kind of like again. I think it's a brave choice.
Yeah, it's not. It's not something that would put me off. Although with this, you do have a scanner, and if you do start to get slightly lost, you can hit the scanner. Not only does it scan wildlife and stuff, so you can learn about wildlife, you can see what metals. This is where it goes a bit No Man's Sky. You can do like metal farming and stuff.
This is what I was talking to my pal about this, because he's like, "Oh, I prefer No Man's Sky," and then he mentioned, "Oh, there's no map," and so I went, "There's no map in No Man's Sky either, mate."
I mean, I can see the comparisons.
Isn't there? I went, no, there isn't one. And he's like, huh. So I think people are just like making excuse or like, I don't know.
Trying to find something to pick up.
It's just a heads-up display indicates things to look for, doesn't it? When you use your search.
There's no map.
Yeah.
No.
But I think like comparing it to No Man's Sky would be a bit of a disservice to it, not to cast any
No Man's
shadows
Sky's
on
got
No Man's
no narrative fucking merit whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it does have bits of No Man's Sky, but it has bits of Fallout, it has bits of all sorts.
Yeah.
The flying in space, this is something that surprised me a little bit. It both delighted me more than I expected, and I have found a little bit disappointing. So far, bear in mind, again, only about 8 hours in, maybe I just haven't got to it yet. I was hoping that there would be a little bit more manual flying in space, getting through asteroid fields, maybe a little bit more fighting enemy ships. I haven't found a lot of that so far.
Doing the Kessel run.
Yeah, there's been a bit of it.
That just depends on the star system you go to. I've been in quite a few where it says like hostile activity near a planet, so you can go up there and you can go have a fight.
I would like more of that, but then more manual flying as well to get from A to B.
I've also had I've had a few random encounters in space as well.
It's all about loading screens to planets, isn't it? You don't land on the planets yourself. It's all
a lot of people online seem to have gotten the wrong end of the stick with this one. They were expecting a No Man's Sky.
I don't think they never said that you could do that, did they?
No, they actually specifically said you couldn't do that, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
The game engine doesn't support it. What the game engine does support is tracking every single fucking object in the game and leaving it in the right place.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like, for instance, I went to, when you get into Constellation, they give you a bedroom. Great.
Yeah.
I dropped some gear there because I was encumbered, because fuck encumbrance. I then went off on my merry way. I came back about 6 hours later, and they're in exactly the same spot I left them in.
That's good.
That's
really good.
It's the creation engine. It's rickety. It's held together by sticky tape, but it's good at doing that shit.
Yeah. You can't argue
There
with
is
that
a lot of encumbrance as well. There's a lot of cucumbers in this game, but I've just
had to push some points into strength.
I've done a couple, but actually it's more of a gameplay mechanic as well, because if you're encumbered, it's not a case of you start to like slow down and you can't fast travel. It takes health off you, kind of like the way RADs work. So it's you'll go through your normal O2, and then you'll start building up CO2, and so then it will take health off you. Yeah, so that's cool. But going back to the flying, a way that it did delight me was it's almost a flight sim in ways that you have a finite amount of power, and what you direct the power to isn't fixed. So if you're in combat, you can take power away from the thrusters and put them into your shields.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically that Elite Dangerous way of doing it, where you've got. It's done in a more basic way than Elite Dangerous does it, but you have full control over the power output of your ship.
Panels, and you can put them up and down. Yeah. I'm banging to that.
Or if you're fighting a ship that's probably not that strong, you only need to put a couple of ticks into your lasers and keep the rest on the shields and engines so you can keep up with them. Stuff like that.
Okay. I like that.
And then once you have defeated a ship, you can then dock it, which was
a bit of space
fucking
docking.
Cool. Yeah,
nice.
Space docking all the way. So,
and then you walk around their ship and bang into that
and steal it if you want.
Oh, you can be an absolute Klingon.
You can.
Absolute Klingon.
So most of my thoughts on the game so far, I think I'm a little bit further than Candy is.
Of course you are.
I'm largely in agreement with her. There are a couple of things I don't like about the game, and it's kind of niggly stuff. The inventory system is fucking shite. I hate it so much. Mostly because it's really hard to see how much ammo you've got in your guns.
Oh, that's not good.
Yes, so it is from the inventories. Yeah,
a couple of times I've been caught in firefights switching to another gun. I was like, oh shit, I've got no bullets.
It doesn't say the bullets on the actual gun or anything like that.
It does when you take the gun out, but not when you're in the inventory.
Yeah. So it's fiddling farty.
It's a little bit fiddly-farty. Some of the writing is like laughably bad, like especially in the opening couple of cutscenes. Like even just the whole premise of like you got it, you got what it takes, kid, and you just get given a ship. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you, mate? All you've done is see me murder some pirates.
That means he's a baddie, mate. Don't trust him.
Oh, everyone's a baddie in this game.
Don't get penisy.
But other than that, like, there's not really much to dislike about the game. Like, the people kicked off online about the space flight. It's almost exactly the same system as Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, that used to do the same thing. Yeah.
Just go in a menu, pick a planet, go.
Yeah.
And you can do a little bit of flying.
But Mass Effect did that. No one complained about that. You could not pilot the ship in Mass Effect. You had someone to do it for you.
You actually can pilot the ship. Like, if you want, you can fly across a star system. It takes you as long as it fucking takes you. Space is big.
Yeah, space is big, man. It's a big old place. Scary place.
But what I like about it, it's got that same kind of Bethesda sense of humor about things. you'll enjoy it more than you enjoyed Star Trek Skyrim Noodles, because you're
More
not
on that
floating.
later.
You're not floating around. You've actually got some head bob. You feel connected to the world.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a body though, which annoys me. You still look down.
That
you
never
don't see a
bothered
body.
me. Never bothered me. I've played loads of games like that,
Yeah,
like Deus Ex. You didn't have a body on Deus Ex.
true. The guy who plays Adam Jensen plays a Wish.com cowboy in this game
Does it? Does it?
with a terrible beard because the creation engine cannot do beards.
I love him. I just did that. I just did that storyline.
That's the guy who played Adam Jensen, which threw me for a loop for a minute there. But generally, the presentation is good. The planets are, like Candy said, a lot of them are quite barren. But when you get to like populated ones with cities, they're really impressive. Like especially when
what I've seen online where you can't explore the whole planet.
No, you see, you can, but you can't do it in one shot. Like
So
every time you
areas, there's maps.
yeah, and they're
I'm fine with
quite
that.
expansive. They're like 4 or 5 square miles. Like it's quite a lot of space that you
Yeah,
get.
why would you want to do it?
Yeah, like you don't want to like walk the entire circumference of a dust bowl.
You're a
But what
fucking
you-
loser if that's what you're wasting your time on.
But what you can, you'll eventually reach an invisible wall, and it'll say you're leaving the play area. What you can
That
do
makes
is
sense.
go back to your ship, launch back into space, go a little bit along, drop back down, and it generates a new map. You can explore the entire planet that way.
yeah.
It's not No Man's Sky seamless, but then again, in No Man's Sky, who the fuck walked around an entire planet?
Nobody. Not
Exactly.
Not a single person. You can put a waypoint and it says time expected, real time, 48 days to walk through round this planet. Like, why would you bother?
Exactly.
Someone out
yeah.
there will.
Yeah,
So-
Costa will. Loser.
A lot of the complaining and griping about Starfield, let's be online, seems to be just really weirdly bad faith. The funniest one I've seen, because, and we all know it's them internet people again.
Them
you
their internets.
Yeah, well, when you create your character, you can set their pronouns. Apparently,
you
this
show me
means
this.
it's the
Fucking-
wokest game in the world.
Oh, literally
God.
Not
unplayable.
even the
God.
first game to do that.
No,
By
but
far.
it's the first high profile one.
You could
It's
do
like-
it in Cyberpunk, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
set your pronouns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it, and you can do it on loads. But some don't even say male, female now. They say type A, type B, and type C and stuff, don't they?
Oh,
Oh, but this
salty PlayStation fanboys. That's
Yeah.
Not
This
even
was-
that,
yeah.
mate. It's just fucking pricks.
it's ridiculous. The thing is, actually, and unlike a lot of Bethesda games, the character creator's really fucking good. You can do
Yeah.
quite a lot with it. Like someone's made Todd Howard in it.
Candy looks like Candy.
Yeah.
Like
I've
made
actually
myself
quite
does
like
this.
it's her. Like, it's ridiculous how good that is.
Well, I was just saying before we started recording, actually, like I'm quite lucky because I got the kind of face where as long as I can make the face short and the cheeks wide and loads
Stig
of eye
has-
makes
Stig's
that's
is
me.
always first default option for
Yeah,
Stig.
man.
Any game.
Don't take me long to create one.
It takes him a second to do it.
The trouble is, though, when you've made a character that's so uncannily like you, is when you do the death scenes, it's like, oh, that don't look good. like
Oh,
you're taking on that pain.
If you're doing it that way, you're role playing as well. So sometimes you lock yourself out of something cool because, like, I wouldn't do that.
And I always do that. The first playthrough, I always play as myself. Like, what would I do? And I've noticed, oh, this was bad as well because I've had to notch up a few of those like aging graphics on the character creator. That was definitely up a few notches since Fallout 4. Like, I had to. That humbled me real quick.
You're in a different age bracket now,
Oh,
pal.
I really am. Yeah, 35 plus.
Welcome to
And
my world.
I think the long and short of this game is, if you enjoy Bethesda games, it's perfect.
100%.
I like that.
It's not game of the year for me. It's not good. There's no way in hell it outruns Baldur's Gate. It just
No.
won't.
But it's nice. It's nice to
but-
exist.
It is a really good light touch RPG because the Bethesda game, like the RPG elements themselves are kind of light touch. It's more of just a build your own character game.
Yeah, you know, they said that
Um,
it was going to be a deeper RPG as well, and not that I've noticed more than Fallout.
No, it's pretty much Fallout. What I like actually that they've brought back from previous Fallouts rather than the Fallout 4 method, you actually get to see the dialogue you're going to say to a character.
Yeah.
It's not just the 4 options with like a word, which is basically 3 yeses and a no.
Yeah.
This you actually get like the proper lines of what you will actually
That's what you
say.
want to do, innit? That's what you want.
And you don't have a voice, so you don't have to rely on weird voice acting.